Prime Minister. So good to see you. And please update us on the current situation in your country.
Thank you very much, Boge. It's a pleasure to be talking again on the World Economic Forum. And as I've always felt, this is a great forum from where we can project our views about our economy and talk to the investors. So let me just say, first of all, that Pakistan had stabilized its economy and was heading in the right direction when COVID hit us. And just like every country got badly hit by COVID because this was something unprecedented. And it was unprecedented because of the lockdown. There's no precedence of an economy being locked down, completely shut, and the consequences of that shutdown. That's really what the world is coping with. So for us, it was not just a question of curtailing the virus, but it was also stopping our people dying from hunger. And we very quickly realized that when you lock down an economy, you have to take care of those people who are daily wagers, whose family depend on their earnings on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And if you lock the economy down, not only these people get affected, but secondly, those people, who are in the informal sector, like the labor in Pakistan's labor, 80% is in the informal sector, so we have no record of them. So unlike the US, where you could send money to their bank accounts, we couldn't do that. So we quickly realized that we could not impose a lockdown like the one imposed in Europe or in China. We realized that we had to go for a smart lockdown. In other words, have spot the hotspots and lock them down, but do not really have a strict lockdown because you can't lock down hungry people. So that worked. We opened up our economy quicker than others. We never locked down the agriculture sector, which was basically rural. We opened up the construction sector, which was in the cities. And because it was mainly outdoor, there was no spread because opening up the construction sector. And then we had a cash program where we gave about 15 million families were given cash handouts. And it was one of the best programs. And that really saved us from the worst effects of the lockdown. And actually, because the people were with us, the public complied with our measures, we came out of it better than any other country. So we saved our economy from its worst effects. Also, we saved people dying from the virus. Now, of course, we are hitting a second peak. And my worry right now is that, number one, because we succeeded so well, people are no longer that worried about the virus anymore. And so we do not find that sort of level of compliance. And secondly, we do not know how long this second wave, because it's in the winter, we don't know what this winter wave is going to be like. So, there's a bit of worry right now because our cases are climbing up quite rapidly these days.
Well, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for that overview. We will have a second round with your finance minister after the questions and dialogue with you. But I think many of the CEOs and chairs that are on the line really would like also to hear from you based on the increasing FDIs, based on the growth that you had before the pandemic. When do you think we'll be back to a pre-COVID level? And how do you see the path forward for Pakistan? When do you think you will get growth at the level where you expect it and need it? And what are the measures that you will take?
I must say that the lessons we learned from the first wave of COVID was that we, in our country, with our high levels of poverty and with a young population, high levels of unemployment, we cannot afford a lockdown where we lock down our businesses. where we locked down the factories. So we have taken a policy decision that we are going to keep the businesses and the factories which employ people. We are not going to lock them down. We are going to only lock down the non-essential, in other words, public gatherings and so on, where our economy doesn't get hurt, because we feel that the consequences of hurting our economy on the people is going to be far greater than the effects of the virus. Now, the two challenges we faced, the two biggest challenges, one was the fiscal deficit. When we came to power, it was the biggest ever fiscal deficit in our history. And second was the current account deficit, the external deficit. And that also was a record deficit. So the first year and a half really was stabilizing the economy to bring these deficits down. So cutting our expenditure, improving governance, and then improving the tax collection to remedy the fiscal imbalancing. And secondly was cutting down on our imports and trying to stimulate our exports, stimulate remittances into Pakistan, because that forms a considerable part of our foreign exchange earning. Foreign direct investment, which was improving, and fortunately is improving again. And then also clamp down on money laundering. Now, this is a big problem in the developing world, where illegal, illicit flows of money leave our country to offshore accounts and so on. This illegal money. So we clamp down on that too. As a result, after 17 years, the last quarter, we had a current account surplus. This is after 17 years, so this was a big achievement, and which reflected on the stability of our currency, because we have our currency is now floated and it's on a market-based exchange rate. So our currency stabilized, in fact, gained in the last few months, and our exports started increasing, because previously our exchange rate was artificially kept high. As a result, the exports went down, and we had the biggest trade gap of $40 billion between import and exports. So our exports started improving. We also gave incentives to the export industry, to the industry in general. And so we are seeing, compared to all the other countries who've been hit by COVID, Pakistan is that fortunate country where our stock exchange shows that the business community has confidence in us. Our exchange rate reflects that. We have now cement sales are highest in our history, which means that the construction, the incentives given to the construction sector have worked. So the construction sector is on the move, which means more employment. Our textile industry at the moment is running full. The hub of the city, which is the hub of the textile industry, Faisalabad, they're short of labor right now. So the measures we took first stabilized and now are heading in the right direction. Of course, I say this because we do not now know, and we are praying that the second wave of COVID does not really make us take those measures which affect this right trend, the country which is heading in the right direction.
Thank you so much, and also congratulations on these achievements under very, very difficult circumstances. We know that one of the major structural initiatives that you have taken is the CPEC, this China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. I learned that there is even now going to be built a high-speed train from Peshawar to Karachi. We also know that there will be a second phase in this initiative. So, Prime Minister, maybe share with us how important is the CPEC, and are you at all concerned that this can be too much, so you're not diversifying, or is this really the way to go?
First, let me just clarify that CPEC is not exclusive to just China. CPEC is, first of all, it started with connectivity. It was a transport, a road network which connected various areas in Pakistan. Secondly, it was about power generation. We were short of power, So we needed power generation, to fuel the growing population and the growth rate. So now the second phase of CPEC is more than connectivity. It is special economic zones which we are opening up with special incentives there. It is about agriculture, where we really need help from China because their productivity in agriculture is much higher than in Pakistan. And it's about also these technology institutes which we want help from China because of digitalization of Pakistan, improving our e-commerce. So we need skilled labor for that. So that's also part of CPEC. But mainly it is about connectivity. It connects Pakistan to China, which is one of the biggest markets. It is also, you talked about the railway. First time in Pakistan's history, we are modernizing our railway. And it will completely revolutionize railway travel in Pakistan, which is called the ML1. And it connects Karachi right up to Peshawar. And the next phase, we want to connect it right through Afghanistan to Uzbekistan. So it will connect us to China. And also, we hope that there will be an east-west. Unfortunately, with India right now, we have a problem. And we hope that this will change with a new government, which is a moderate government. We have where we can resume normal relationship with India. But with Iran, if sanctions are lifted there, we then have a north to south, east to west connectivity, and Pakistan's special strategic location connects it to the biggest markets, as well as the energy corridor. So we are really very well placed, and CPEC is a great opportunity to now move forward from here. And as I said, it's not exclusive to China. Anyone can become part of the CPEC.
No, thank you so much. You're now touching also on the geopolitical positioning of your country. It is crucial in South Asia, but is also very much connected to the Middle East, but also Central Asia, that is such a growing region. I think we all are wondering, how do you see now the development between the G2, the US, and also China, the two largest economies in the world? And I guess you already commented on President-elect Biden's and his new administration.
Well, one is the China-US relationship, which obviously we have no role in this. But if we would like this to be a complementary rather than a confrontational relationship, and that would suit us well. You do not want to be in a position to take sides. It would be great if, and for Pakistan, it would be very beneficial if this was a trading relationship between the two giants. But you see, the key for us right now is Afghanistan. It's after a long time that there is a prospect of peace. For some reason, there were attempts for a military solution, and here's someone who kept saying that there was never going to be a military solution. Finally, the peace talks started, and Pakistan played a huge part in getting the Americans and the Taliban to sit on a table. And then it played another very difficult to get an intra-Afghan dialogue going. Now, unfortunately, the level of violence is growing in Afghanistan, and this is of concern to us because we believe that peace in Afghanistan has huge dividends, first of all to the people of Afghanistan, but then to people of Pakistan. It connects us right up to Central Asia. And as you quite rightly said, Central Asia has this huge untapped potential, which will be of great benefit to us and to Central Asia if they can connect right down. They're landlocked, and they can, through Gwadar, they can be connected to the world. So the great hope here is that there is these talks succeed, and there is peace in Afghanistan. And apart from anything else, the tribal belt of Pakistan, the strip of land adjoining Pakistan and Afghanistan, they were devastated by the war on terror. And the best way to rehabilitate and to give employment to the people there is if there is peace in Afghanistan, and the adjoining areas will benefit the most from trading and connectivity.
Your historic visit to Kabul, you were just there, and as you said, violence is again increasing. But you think because of the changes now, we will lose momentum in the peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban, or do you think it's still such an interest to make this happen that we will see a successful outcome? And we also know that the winter season is not the most violent season. So maybe we can go into next spring with the result on the table?
You know, if someone asked me what was President Trump's greatest achievement, for me it is this resumption of the Afghan peace process. I feel that it was a great achievement of his because he literally forced this peace process to take place. And, the fact that after so many years, there's a dialogue going on, no matter how difficult, and it was always going to be difficult. The longer the conflict, the harder it is to bridge that divide which that conflict creates. So I feel that President Trump did a great job here. And I'm convinced that President-elect Biden is not going to reverse this because there is no other solution. I mean, there is only one way forward. You can't have a conflict going on for 19 years and no result and expect that you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you expect a result in the next 19 years. So therefore, I think everyone will be trying to push this peace process.
No, thank you so much. And we know it means a lot to Pakistan, but of course, mostly for the Afghan people. And we know all the resources that are in this country, provided there is peace.